Kelly Shaw reporting for RMSO Bigfoot. I'm doing a Bigfoot report from Oregon's Rogue River. Crazy scary Bigfoot sighting, so make sure you watch this video to the end. Oregon boasts the third most Bigfoot sighting reports worldwide, and so we love to do several Bigfoot expeditions here each year to search for the elusive giant of the Pacific Northwest, otherwise known as Bigfoot. We have received several Bigfoot sighting reports from many witnesses along the Rogue River of Oregon, and so we often find ourselves here following up on these reports, searching for the creature and hoping to get lucky, and have lightning strike twice for us, so to speak. The Rogue River in southwest Oregon starts as a spring bursting from the slopes of the Cascade Mountains west of Crater Lake, flowing 215 miles to the Pacific Ocean. Fishermen report seeing the creature along this river, and surprisingly, people in rural areas send us reports. They see Bigfoot near towns, highways, and bridges. This particular terrifying Bigfoot encounter reported to us is from a rural area in the town of Rogue River, Oregon. Let's dive into the report. Darcy writes RMSO. Hi Kelly, I enjoy your posts. I have had a couple of glasses of wine, so I feel brave enough to talk to you. First of all, we are somehow related. My grandmother was a Shaw. Maybe we can figure that out sometime. The reason why I'm sending you a message tonight is I have a dear old friend from high school who has quite a story. She lived in rural Rogue River, Oregon in the early 90s. She told me about multiple experiences with Bigfoot. To make a long story short, it entered her mobile home. A door didn't lock, and they sat there and stared at each other down the hall while she held a shotgun. I have encouraged her to document her encounters. She said that she wanted to, but just hadn't gotten around to it. She is a professional woman, and I think that she isn't quite sure that she wants to share. I am one of a few people she has discussed it with. I am a lifelong believer. I spent my summers up at Shaver Lake as a kid. I grew up listening to and seeing my aunt show and talk to us about it. I was an adult when I realized that not everyone thought the same. Thank you for your time. I'm not quite sure where to go from here, but I'm open to suggestions. The best, Darcy. Kelly from RMSO responds, Wow, thank you for relaying that to me. Did she describe in detail how it looked? Darcy responds, Yes. She had quite a few experiences. In the beginning, it was about her walking her dogs. They were large dogs. She knew something was following them. The female would split, but the male would stay with her. Herds of deer would huddle right up next to her trailer. She felt as if something was stalking them. She was alone a lot, as her husband was gone at work. Then one day the chains she had on her dogs were broken, and the dogs were gone. She would often get an uneasy feeling and told her then husband that she felt she needed protection. He got her a gun. She awoke one night and couldn't sleep. She started towards the hallway and it was standing at the other end of the hallway. She slowly picked up her gun and they just sat and stared at each other. He was massive and would have had to turn sideways to get down the hall to her. She wasn't sure how long it lasted, but I'm sure she got quite a good look at him. Even though she was scared shitless, she said he didn't even seem threatening. She felt more like he was curious. She felt that if he tried to come at her and he shot him, the gun would not have brought him down. He was so huge. Eventually, he turned and left, and then that's when she moved away from that place. Her husband bought her the gun before the dogs disappeared. She come home, the chains of both the large dogs broke, and never to see those poor dogs again. Don't know if this Bigfoot had anything to do with it, but it was after the dogs disappeared that it come into her home. I hope that made sense. I suspect the Bigfoot didn't like the alarm system of the dogs. She is an honest, sweet woman. I believe every word. Something that I noticed was it seemed that he was quite loud sometimes, but very quiet others. This is the kind of thing that we would talk about on a night like tonight. Two old girlfriends chatting on the phone with a couple of glasses of wine. I got the feeling she wanted to share and knew that it was important to do so, but at the same time, I think that she was worried about being judged. She is quite successful in her field of work, and well, some people would think that you're nuts. I personally wouldn't care. I'm 48 years old, screw 'em. But I think that she cares quite a bit about what people think of her. I live in Southern California and have had plenty of people laugh in my face when I talk about it. Kelly from RMSO responding, "Wow, I would have crapped my pants too. Interesting encounter. This is one of a small handful of Bigfoot encounters where I know of Bigfoot actually coming inside a home. Amazing. The Bigfoot in her house, I've been trying to envision it standing there. The height, if it had to hunch over to fit under the ceiling. A Bigfoot ripped the front door off a cabin near where I live in Cottonwood Canyon, Utah. Nobody was home at the time. It is a summer vacation home. The reason the owners know it was a Bigfoot that ripped the door off is because it walked around the house, leaving giant muddy footprints everywhere. The only damage to the cabin was the door torn off, and just a mess of footprints inside the cabin. Around 10 years later, their 15-year-old grandson heard the outhouse door slam shut at night. He looked out the second-story window, wondering who was out there in the middle of the night. Almost right away, he saw what he describes as a Bigfoot coming out of it and heading into the woods. I'm sure they hide and observe people, and out of curiosity wanted to see why people keep going in and out of that outhouse. Plus, during their observations, I'm sure they learn how to operate a doorknob. There are other reports of Bigfoot operating the zipper of a tent. I believe they hide in the woods, observing people, and learn how to get in and out of our structures from tents, outhouses, and homes. It's very rare, but it does happen. My Uncle Barry was camping with several of his cousins on Tabby Mountain, Utah, in a large 5-man tent. He woke up to the zipper door being opened. He was sleeping closest to the door and knew everyone was still in the tent. So he grabbed the zipper, fighting to close it, with whatever was outside trying to open it. This woke up the other 4 cousins. Barry threatened, "Whoever is pulling a prank, we have a gun." It still fought with the zipper. Finally, after a time, it stopped, and they heard it start to walk off into the woods. Barry then hurried and opened the zipper door, and all 5 watched a Bigfoot walk off into the woods. All of his cousins recall a skunky smell the entire time he was fighting with it during the zipper struggle. Last time they camped on Tabby Mountain. My uncle and his cousins didn't believe in Bigfoot up until that time. All believers now, and all stay away from Tabby Mountain. I drove over Tabby Mountain a few years back to check out my uncle's and cousins' sighting reports in that area. It's in the South Uinta Mountains and is well known for Bigfoot sightings. To me, this says that Bigfoot is very smart. Through observation, it can figure out how to get in and out of structures, tents, and so forth. Thank you for sending this Bigfoot sighting report to us, Darcy. We love the Rogue River, Oregon, and we always find ourselves out there following up on Bigfoot sighting reports looking for this elusive giant. If any of you have a Bigfoot sighting report, please email that to us at rmsobigfoot@gmail.com. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.